So I have a question. Now I know to some people it's gonna be obvious. They gonna say, "Duh, dude, uh, that's never gonna happen." But legit question: could EA Sports or Undisputed or either company, if they came out with a game in the future, right? Because we know UFC 6 is coming. We know for sure Undisputed 2 is coming, right? Is there any chance those games could be good enough to ever be at EVO? If I don't know what EVO is a yearly tournament that goes on where the best players in multiple fighting games compete. Now, just to name a few, you have Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and another game is called Guilty Gear. Right? If you guys don't know what those games are, look them up. There's more than just that at EVO. Really big tournament, money to be won, notoriety to be made. A lot of people sign up. But is UFC ever going to be to the point where they could ever compete at EVO? Me personally, I gotta say no. I have to say no, and allow me to explain before y'all start criticizing me and being like, "Oh, it's just because you're bad at the game." Few reasons. One, I don't think EA cares about making their game competitive to that level. They do not sell the game to be competitive at that level. The game is more so pushed to a casual base, the casual fans, for sales purposes. Right? Now I'm going to talk about Undisputed next, of course, but the way UFC is, it's just not branded and pushed to that way where they want it to be about EVO. The last UFC game that had a really big tournament, you can say UFC 4, but that was more so something that the community put on and ESFL got a sponsor for. I'm not sure who was the sponsor or who started the UFC 2 thing, but from my understanding, they had an in game thing where in the game you had to compete and win in order to qualify. That hasn't been a thing since. And we're talking back to UFC 2, which came out, what, 2016? So you're telling me EA hasn't supported a big sponsorship tournament for a UFC game since UFC 2. And again, I'm not sure if EA sponsored that. I just know that they were a part of it. Now, back when UFC 4 or 5 first came out, I think it was 5. Could be 4. EA was all hands in with the ESFL, and after that first week, they vanished. I do think they maybe put some money up, but I don't think it was too much. I'm not 100% sure exactly what the numbers were, but I don't think EA is looking at UFC as to be that type of game. I don't think they ever will. It's just unfortunate. That's just the way the game goes for EA. Um, I don't think they're going to support UFC in that way. I don't think they're even thinking about UFC in that way, which sucks for UFC, but that's just the nature of what the UFC game is. Honestly, I think they look at UFC as a monopoly. We just want to hold all the money from any company trying to sell the game and license these fighters. That's what EA is doing. They're really big on monopolizing, just like 2K is. Okay, so next up is Undisputed. Now I look at Undisputed and I say, can Undisputed really go EVO? Can it truly go EVO? And I say the Undisputed game that we have today will never even touch a piece of EVO due to ongoing problems, online issues with stability, and current game following. Online is a desync fest. A lot of desync goes on. The servers aren't great. The issues within the game, the time that it's taking them to fix the issues within the game is just not in a timely manner where a company, or not say company, but EVO, the likes of EVO would take Undisputed serious, even if they try to go and I'm not sure if it's like an application thing or a partnership thing. It wouldn't get past the first test of anything, unfortunately. Now, who's to say that can change in EA Sports? I mean, I'm EA in Undisputed too, right? But also, from my understanding, there was supposed to be actual competition or actual belt for Undisputed that just seemed to have vanished. It seems like Turkey Al-Sheikh completely abandoned Undisputed. Now, I could be wrong, but isn't he talking about making a whole nother boxing game? So it's like, what exactly is going on? What happened? I'm in the lost when it comes to Undisputed. I'm just like, bro, what's going on with Undisputed, bro? Like, all these big money tournaments, all this big talk just disappeared once the game released and it got pushed to the state that it was in. Um, Especially with the money that was invested. Again, I don't know where the money goes, right? We don't know where the money that was invested goes, where it goes to boxers, where it goes to funding this, funding that, doing this, doing. We don't truly know. But what I do know is, well, not I know, like I'm skeptical, or I would assume, right? You guys, if you don't know, Undisputed was looking for Unreal Engine 4 and 5. I think it was 4 and 5. I'm not sure exactly what numbers there were developers. So either we're getting a Undisputed huge overhaul update on the original game, or we're getting a Undisputed 2, and that's what they're in the works of doing. Either or, so I don't like the fact that Undisputed 2 is already in development, because it's gonna, and I don't like, personally, I love it for myself. Let me say that. But for a company to drop a bombshell of what Undisputed was when it first released, you talk about doing another game after that, it's like, bro, people are gonna people are gonna turn that game down before even giving it a chance due to how bad the first one was. You know what I mean? I'll give you a quick little comparison or analogy or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it. Imagine you get in a relationship, or a girl gets in a relationship with a guy, right? Things go south from the jump. When she gets in the next relationship and that guy gives her any signal or any sign that he is doing the exact same thing this last guy doing, she's not even gonna give him a chance. That's kind of what it is with Undisputed. But hopefully Undisputed 2 is good. Hopefully Undisputed 2 can touch the bases of people, even to the point where we can get to a place where the Olympics, because boxing is in the Olympics from my understanding. I'm not sure if it still is or whatever, but from my understanding right now, boxing is in the Olympics. Imagine if you can go to the Olympics gaming. Now I know that's pretty far-fetched and pretty insane, but honestly, you never really know these days, because the industry of gaming is only getting bigger and bigger as the years go on. So who knows? Who knows? But as far as today, August the 3rd, 2025, there's no chance that UFC 5 or Undisputed could ever go to EVO. These are kind of the two big games of the combat sports. I mean, you do have VR, Thrill of the Fight too. Nah, that's not really gonna go esports. I mean, not esports. That's not gonna go to EVO, unfortunately. But who knows? Honestly, who truly knows? At the end of the day, you never really know. But until both games take the competitiveness serious, and I mean dead serious, where there is true funding and understanding and development and changes and updates to the game being pushed to that real competitive nature, no, these games will never touch EVO. Sad to say. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do. But it is what it is, man. I'm I'm not hanging my hat on it. I just thought about it and I figured I'd come to you guys and talk about it. And you guys know I love yapping, so this is my daily yap to you guys, all right? But nonetheless, If you made it this far into the video, man, let me know in the comment section. Say, bro, I made it here, Prop. And that'll tell me, okay, you locked in with me, you know what I mean? And I appreciate your time and I appreciate your efforts in supporting the channel. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, or evening, wherever you're at in the world. Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, y'all keep moving forward, keep y'all head up, man. Tough times don't last long, tough people do, all right? See y'all boys and girls in the next one.